So this is a 60-minute chart of the euro dollar, and I'll go through the chart and show you the weak highs, weak lows, the reactions to them, and I will also show you the failed auctions. Alright, so let's get to it. Let's start with this weak low. As you can see, there was not a strong rejection, only sort of weak rejection of lower prices. Afterwards, you can see that the weak low got tested with this aggressive rejection. Then there was this weak high, and this one got breached by this movement. Alright, at first there was a reaction, pretty nice one, but afterwards, as you can see, the weak high got breached and the price tested above it. And right there, it created a strong high, a strong rejection. Another weak low is in here. This is a weak low. As you can see, after this weak low, there was aggressive rejection of higher prices, and then the price shot past the weak low and it created a strong low. It created a strong rejection of lower prices. Alright, so this was the weak low. Let's move forward a bit. And in here, there was a nice case of failed auction. As you can see, all those rejections and at the same price level. The price wasn't able to test above this price level 3 times. So this is the failed auction. And right there you can see that the price tested above the failed auction and it created a successful auction. Right there, this is also sort of weak low, which got tested by this pin bar. Alright, as you can see, the wick of the candle always goes below the lowest point of the weak low. I should say at least below the lowest point. Alright. And then in here, you can see that there was a weak high, very weak rejection of higher prices. The price turned very shyly, very slowly. Afterwards, there was a test of higher prices and an aggressive rejection. This is the aggressive rejection right there. Alright, so again, the weak high got tested pretty soon. And also, there's a failed auction in here. Those 2 rejections form a failed auction. Those 2 candles have their lows exactly at the same price level. What happens next? Price tests below the failed auction to create a successful auction. At this place, there's also a failed auction. And as you can see, the price tests above the failed auction to create a successful auction. And also, there's a weak low in here. And it's pretty weird that this rejection didn't really test below the weak low. This is not really usual. Also, there's one more thing which I missed. This failed auction right there. Those 3 candles end at the same price level. Then as you can see, the price tests below the level and then goes upwards, but not sooner. Alright, so another failed auction which got turned into successful auction, even though this is a weak low. Let's move forward a bit. Right there, another nice case of failed auction or a weak low. In this case, it doesn't really matter. It's just very weak rejection of lower prices. And as you can see, the price tests below it pretty soon to create a successful auction. Then there's also failed auction in here. First, the price doesn't reach it. It makes a strong reaction, but afterwards the price returns and aggressively shoots past it. Also past this sort of weak high. Alright, so this is another example how the price shoots past weak highs and failed auctions. Then another weak low is in here. As you can see, the price only shyly turns and goes upwards, but there is not a strong rejection in here. And then the price goes past this weak low, tests below and creates a strong low, a strong rejection of lower prices. Alright, quite soon after, this weak low has been created. And by the way, this is also sort of weak low, but this one's still not tested. In here, there's a failed auction. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 candles and at the same price level. And afterwards, the price tests below the failed auction to create a successful auction. Alright, so this was the failed auction. The price wasn't able to go past this level, but then there was a strong selling activity and the big institutions tested below the failed auction into this area. And then there was a weak low, and as you can see, then there was rejection of higher prices and aggressive selling activity. Two signs of strong sellers. And within this strong selling activity, this weak low was tested. Alright, so the price went past the weak low. This is what usually happens with weak lows. They got tested with aggressive movement, like in this case. There's another case of weak low in here. This is a weak low. There is not a strong rejection in here. And when there is a strong downtrend, and after the downtrend there is only a weak rejection, remember this is what I spoke about earlier, if you are in a short position, you should hold it. As you can see, the price only shyly goes upwards, there is no aggression in here. And then aggressive selling activity, which takes this weak low. And by the way, one more weak low in here. This is another one. Also gets tested with this strong selling activity. Alright, so those two weak lows got tested. As I said, it's not really clever to quit your positions if you are in a short position in a downtrend like this. When there are weak lows after such a downtrend, then usually there'll be sudden movement to test below those weak lows and create a new strong low. Like for example in this case in here. Another weak low was in here. Then it got tested with this candle, and this is basically the end of this downtrend. Alright, this rejection of lower prices, which also tested this weak low. Then there's another weak one in here. This is a weak low. And again, strong selling activity, which tested below the weak low. Then there was sort of weak high in here, which got tested immediately. And afterwards, this really weak low at the end of the day. And again, the price went past it. And strong low, strong rejection got created in here. And afterwards, the price shot past this weak high. Afterwards, what catches my eye is this weak low, immediately tested in here, sort of false breakout, and afterwards with this strong selling activity. Alright, so that's how weak high and lows work. Usually the price shoots past them to create a strong low or strong high. The same goes for the failed auctions, so you definitely want to keep an eye on those when you are trading. I know this is a bit advanced price action, but after some time I'm pretty sure that you'll be able to master it and see those patterns in your charts.